protocol coming in up 17% today at $43. There has been a lot of complaints about Internet Computer Protocol. And I want to be clear with you guys about something. We never did. There are people saying we did a promotional video for them. We've never done a promotional video for ICP. We did a review video because it was super hot because it debuted in the top 10 on Coinbase. And a lot of people are saying that it's a scam now, are saying that it's a rug pull. And let me tell you what. ICP is definitely not, to this point, a rug pull. It's got a lot of red flags. It's got a lot of warning signs. And we gave you those in the review video that we did. And, a lot of people were saying that I had bought some, and I did buy some on a live stream. I bought 100K's worth when it was at, I think, $300. It had dropped from $450. It dropped 30%. I thought it was a pretty good entry point. The next day, the entire market crashed, and everything went down. So I got out of it at about $200. That was part of when I sold some altcoins. That was definitely one of the ones I sold. Here was what I said when I bought that, guys. When you have these coins that debut in the top 10, generally, it's been a good bet to invest in those. It's been a good bet to get a position in those. I was getting a position based on the fact that it debuted in the top 10, had a lot of money behind it, nothing to do with the actual quality of the project. What happened, and somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on this, and I think words are very important. When we start calling things rug pulls that aren't really rug pulls, do you guys know what that does? That nullifies the word rug pull. It becomes like the word scam, where basically anybody just says it about anything. Like, oh, Bitcoin Cash, that's a scam because it forked Bitcoin. Like, you can't just call things scams because you don't like it or you don't like what they do. That really brings down the power of how, people actually getting scammed. And that's very important. So the Internet Computer Protocol, what I would tell you is this. What I believe happened is, it seemed like a lot of the early investors, they had their tokens locked. Meanwhile, the founders sold a bunch of tokens, I think it was, or $90 billion. I don't know. It was a lot of money that the founders sold. And people are now calling it a scam because the founders sold their tokens. Guys, that's very typical. If they don't have lockup periods for their founder tokens, they sell those quickly. I mean, that's how. Okay. All right. So I guess I'll just keep going.
Yeah. That's all we can do. It's the only thing you can do.
Okay.
I'm working on it.
Okay. All right. Okay, so coming here looking at the daily chart, as you guys can see, we had a really big move. I mean, that looks pretty crazy when you're looking at the last week. A lot of moving ahead 3 steps and then moving back 3 steps is what it seems to be doing here. You can see we got up into the EMA ribbon. Again, every time we get up into it, we get shoved down below it. We're up above the lowest part of the EMA ribbon here, which is good. Now, this was on, I think it was Friday, we had this yellow X. Now, pretty consistently what we're seeing from these yellow X's on the daily chart, they're pretty rare, is they're not really equating to much. We're getting these yellow X's to pop up on Market Cipher every time the price is already kind of getting much, much lower. So you guys can see on the daily chart, the 2 days that we had this happen, we had some pretty big drops on those days, but it didn't actually, translate into further drops down the road is what we're seeing here. So, okay. All right, so let's see here. So I'm really thrown off by that lag. Did not know we were having that problem.
We're not having problems now.
Okay, so how many people we got watching?
About 6,000.
Oh, God.
7,000.
6,000. How many likes?
1,100.
1,100, guys. If we go ahead and hit that like button so we can get more people in here, especially now that hopefully we have the lag fixed. Sometimes you just have problems, guys. This is live streaming. This is what it's like.
Yeah. Well, I think it has. We came in this morning and there was no internet to the entire building at all.
Oh, wow.
Not downstairs or upstairs. So they got that figured out. But I have a feeling now we're all on the same signal just for today.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's not good. Yeah. All right. So I want to show you guys this also with the Ethereum chart.
But it seems to be fine now. We're only streaming. We're not. I stopped the Twitch stream, so it seems to be fine now.
Okay. All right. So we stopped streaming to Twitch. That was taking up too much bandwidth. So, all right. So on the Ethereum chart, guys, we have this green dot here on the 4-hour chart. This means a change of momentum into bullish. So as you guys can see, looking at the Ethereum chart, I mean, we've been on, this has been like almost a dead on downtrend here ever since the 15th. And you guys can see we have now broken out well above that. And always, guys, if you want to trade, you guys can head on over to bitboycrypto.com/deals. We've got ByBit and Femex. You can trade either one of those. We do have our Femex contest going on right now, which I think we're in like 13th place. I'm going to be looking for some positions early this week. I didn't think trading over the weekend was a really strong move, to be honest with you, because it's just very volatile. What I'm being told is if you're looking at the charts for Bitcoin and Ethereum, let's just look at the hourly chart over the weekend. So basically, what's today? The 28th. Mm-hmm. So that would be going back to the 26th. So here's what's interesting, guys. Basically, these institutions, what they did is on Friday, they wanted to push the prices down. We see at the end of every single quarterly close and every single monthly close. They took the weekends off. The institutions were not, after they got over-exacerbated on Friday, they weren't able to push prices as low as they want. And what we're seeing develop from that is we are seeing the return of bullish sentiment. If you look at what has gone on since Saturday, that is about as clear of an uptrend as you can see, starting obviously with the bottom right there. You guys can see sideways action move up, sideways action move up, sideways action over here. But now it's Monday. The big Wall Street investors, the hedge funds, the institutions, they are back ready to roll. And so I don't know if we'll see this continue. But here's why this is important. This is important because the retail moves over the weekend, that suggests that things are still bullish. The retail investor is still bullish on Bitcoin. Why flip-flop from what? What am I flip-flopping from? What did I flip-flop from? Yesterday we did a Femex and ByBit video on butterfly trading, which is a good way you can basically take advantage of whether it goes up or down. But on the weekends, personally, and I said that yesterday, I'm not trading on the weekends right now, especially with all the volatility. That may return. We may see a return to a lot more active trading every day once things seem to calm down, and I think that they will. So, all right, so let's check this out. Crypto long and short. This bear market may not last long. Now, this is from CoinDesk, and yeah, it seems like we're having trouble with a lot of images on a lot of sites. Crypto markets will likely stay under sell pressure for the next few weeks, but data points indicate this bear market may be short-lived. And I do want to also reference, guys, we do have later on in the stream, we have Piano Matty B coming up. We're going to be doing an interview. He's our new TA guy. So we'll be talking a little bit more about the charts during that time. I moved that today. I don't want to see any of that today. It's like super negative again today. Like I don't see any positive. Yeah, somebody said the chat is toxic today. So just pull it down. I don't want to see it. The whole thing. Thank you. Okay, so crypto markets will likely stay under sell pressure for the next few weeks, but data points indicate this bear market may be short-lived. This is exactly what I've been telling you guys for about probably 3 weeks now. Heading in towards the middle of July, that is when we will see things start to pick up, start to return, and start to move in the right direction. This CoinDesk article here is suggesting that exact same thing. Crypto markets will likely stay under sell pressure for the next few weeks, but data points indicate this bear may be short-lived. So then we go down here, we start getting into the actual article itself. It says, analysts have already made bear market calls prematurely on 2 occasions this year. And this is something that you see every time there's a major pullback. Every time there's a major pullback, you see people saying, bull market is over, bull market is over. It feels bad when you're in it, but if you go back and look at all the previous bull runs, they all had dramatic pullbacks. 183% pullback. In the last bull market, there was not a pullback over 40%, but the average pullback was like 35%. And let me tell you what would be really interesting would be to go average the major pullbacks together we've had so far. And I think the average will actually end up being pretty similar to what we had on the last one. But it says, Bitcoin is the benchmark for the overall market. Bitcoin dominance, its share of estimated market value is down to the mid-40s. It still has no analogy in equities, yada, yada, yada. Crypto returns generally have a strong correlation to Bitcoin. We know that. Could we see that change over the next year? That's what some people believe. It's really just hard to say. I know we did a video where we looked at ETH decoupling from Bitcoin. I believe ETH will decouple from Bitcoin at some point, I think if Ethereum can pass Bitcoin, if it can flip Bitcoin at some point, that will probably change things. But for now, because I mean, if you think about it, if Ethereum passes Bitcoin in market cap, what would really the advantage be to having everything continue to follow Bitcoin? That wouldn't really make sense. Like Ethereum at that point would show it's outperforming Bitcoin. I think that would get a lot of confidence to people to know. I think we're just still in an emerging technology. And because of that, people are really having a hard time keeping confidence in the smaller coins. I mean, I tell you guys this all the time. There's only very few what I believe to be long-term holds right now. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Cardano, which is the next institutional target. You guys watch out for that. Cardano, and then Chainlink. I definitely love Chainlink. It's a good coin in the bear market as well. And then Binance Coin. But I've said Binance Coin with a little caveat of as long as I get the regulation stuff straightened out. And guys, it's not looking so great for Binance regulatory-wise right now. They got banned in the UK over the weekend. And so that's something to keep watching. But outside of that, we don't really know what the coins are going to make it are. And you see that confidence reflected in the market. That's why altcoins dropped so much. Because we know Bitcoin's not going to zero. But we don't know that a lot of altcoins are, going to make it. We don't know if they're going to make it or not. But for Bitcoin, 20% drops are quite common on the way to new all-time highs. Earlier this quarter, we identified a simple method for determining whether such a drop has ushered in a new market regime. Change of 20% in the CoinDesk Bitcoin price index, followed by at least 90 days in which Bitcoin does not return to its previous high or low. Now, this goes back to 2015, and this shows you how long these bear markets are. 2019, we had a little kind of mini bull trap, if you will, that happened in the middle of that market that started rising the beginning of the year and went all the way through June. It popped up to $14,000 and then it got crushed again. But here's the interesting thing. This was a bull market in the middle of a bear market. Mm-hmm. Right now, what we've seen is a little short bear market inside of what I believe is going to shape up to be a larger bull market, in the next couple of months. It's going to get back on track. It says here that Bitcoin has fallen by more than 20% as of Sunday. 24 days remain until that 90-day threshold. Predicting that Bitcoin won't recover. This is pretty interesting. Predicting that Bitcoin won't recover to 65,000 in the next 3 weeks doesn't feel like a particularly bold move. But this is Bitcoin. At the time of this writing, XBX is at $33,500. Recovering its all-time high would be a 93.7% gain. Since XBX's inception in April of 2014, Bitcoin has made such a 24-day run not less than 25 times. So it's made that kind of run 25 times. Like, that's pretty nuts if you think about it. Doesn't think July. Basically goes to give us some reasons why July will not see a recovery of all-time high. You've got the GBTC discount. It's Grayscale Bitcoin Trust. You got ASIC Glut. Basically talking about the China Bitcoin mining stuff. And I'll tell you, I don't know how I'm feeling about all this China mining stuff. I'm starting to wonder what the real story is. Because I've been talking to some people, and like I said on Friday, I think it was Friday when we did the live stream, maybe it was Wednesday. Guys, if you're a Chinese miner, if you run a Bitcoin mining farm in China, you can't just pick up and move to another country and mine. But that seems to be a narrative that we're seeing is happening. That doesn't happen. You only get out of China if China lets you get out of China. And so I know TJ and I were talking yesterday. He said, well, the thing is, it depends on how high up you are, how freely you can move. Well, if your Bitcoin mining farm gets shut down, you're not very high on the list. And so I don't know. This is something I'm really starting to wonder about what's happening behind the scenes with a lot of these stories from this Beijing mining crackdown. Feels a little orchestrated to me, so we'll see what happens. And then a rudderless market. Institutions aren't rushing to buy the dip, but the fundamentals say otherwise. This is the part that's important. A market interregnum, I don't even know what that is, may indicate a short-lived bear regime between bull markets. Some network data supports this analysis. Bitcoin doesn't have true fundamentals in the sense that Bitcoin doesn't represent a claim on cash flows. However, Bitcoin and other cryptos have a family of metrics that indicate activity over networks. I wouldn't be so naive as to apply Metcalfe's law to the Bitcoin price, but network data does provide another layer of insight, especially when combined with market data. This is the Bitcoin spin output age bands. We're going to look at some more. You can go ahead and move to the Glassnode stuff here because this is going to kind of roll into that. The long and the short of it, there are a lot of these on-chain metrics, a lot of the behavior analysis of the way that Bitcoin is flowing, the way people are spending Bitcoin, the way people are hodling Bitcoin, the way that it's flowing into exchanges that are seeming to indicate we're still bullish. And this is what I've been telling you guys from all of our Glassnode stuff for a while. The conclusion of this article is this. If like me, you're planning on taking a vacation in July, your timing is good. Well, I would tell you it's not good. Because if July shapes up to where the middle of this month we start getting bullish, that's going to be your best positions to get in. Those are going to be your best entry points. But this article is telling you, take July off. All right, told you, CoinDesk, they're in on all this just as hard as anybody when it comes to this FUD confusion. I told you guys, there's FUD chaos coming. We're not going to know what's bullish, and we're not going to know what's bearish. When you look at this article, the headline seems to be very bullish, but yet at the end they say, don't trade in July. Don't trade. Don't buy anything in July. Seems to line up with that strategy I've been telling you all weekend is coming. And looking at some other numbers, I know we talked about this yesterday on the video yesterday morning. This is so crazy. The most Tether in the history of Bitcoin has moved onto exchanges. The previous record was right before Tesla announced their buy. And of course, this gray line back here, that was the market crash in March of 2020. But you look here and you see, when was stuff starting to flow into the market? You look back here, the beginning of October. This is where things really started getting bullish. We got up back over $10,000. Look over here. This was the Tesla buy, first week of February when they announced it. But the interesting thing is, this money is flowing into exchanges right before these announcements. So are we about to see a big announcement? Or is a company maybe doing something behind the scenes we don't know about right now, but we'll find out about later? When USDT is flowing onto exchanges, extremely bullish. That means people are going to be getting out of dollar positions and into crypto positions. They're going to be looking for good, solid entry points. So right now, we've seen the largest inflow of USDT ever. So that would tell you people are going to be looking for really good entry points into different cryptos. I would say particularly watch, obviously, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. Those are the three I would be watching the most closely right now. We did a video last week where we did a Cardano update, and we showed you guys more institutional buys than ever on Cardano. I've been telling you guys for 2 months, Cardano is the next target from these institutional investors. But they're going to have quite the fight on their hands if they think they're going to get Cardano people to sell at any point. So we look at the stock to flow deflection. We are considerably lower than average. This line here in the middle, the dotted line in between the red and the green, this is the average stock to flow price. Let's actually pull up the stock to flow chart, see what's going on with that right now. Here it is. See where this thing is looking. We have dipped well below the line. So right now, the average price should be about, I'll zoom in on this a little bit closer so we can see. So the average price right now should be $73,000. The average price that we should be at for Bitcoin is higher than the all-time high. Very interesting. And if you look, it just looks like we've been in sideways action ever since we dipped below the average line. You guys look back, the last bull market, we stayed considerably lower than the average. It acted kind of as resistance, whereas in this bull run, it had kind of been acting as support, and then we went well below it. There are a lot of people out there that believe that the stock to flow chart, I was watching a guy talking about the stock to flow chart this weekend on TikTok, I think Crypto Weatherman, I believe on TikTok. And he was saying he doesn't buy the stock to flow chart at all. And his reasoning for it, I think is very flawed. His reasoning for it is he says that we can't actually look at the history of Bitcoin and predict where it's going because of the fact that we can't factor in larger kind of macro trends, okay? He was saying that because we haven't gone through a financial crisis during this time, like the 2008 financial crisis, or the dot-com bubble pop, Because we haven't gone through that, we don't know how the stock to flow is going to react if we go through one of those larger macro trends. But I would say, does the pandemic not count? Like, was that not a financial crisis?
That's kind of how I felt when we were talking the other day on Around the Blockchain, and Nerd Girl was saying, like, oh, it's untested against economic, global economic.
How could you say that?
Right. And I was like, well, what about the last year?
Yeah. So, like that guy on TikTok, he makes some good content. I just happen to fiercely disagree with people. Here's my big problem. I fiercely disagree with people on things like the stock to flow, things like a larger, like a 10-year Bitcoin cycle, until we see it. Like, it's all conjecture. All we have to look at is what we have. When we look back on what we have, it's been very consistent in predicting. And we are still in a place right now with the stock to flow chart where it very easily can still play out the way that we said it was going to play out. Once we get in August, September, October, if we're still in the same spot, if we're lower than we are right now, yeah, it's time to punt that idea. But until we get there, why would you change? Because let me tell you the thing about Bitcoin over the last year is proven. Over the last year and a half, it's proven. Every single time Bitcoin or Ethereum have been pressed into a spot where people said, this time it's different, it always ends up coming back and doing the same thing. It was right on par for the stock to flow until the last 6 weeks. You take 6 weeks out of a year and a half, what gives you the stronger evidence? The thing is, the feeling you have right now, because the prices are down, it tends to trump logic. But we do know that, there really, in my opinion, is no reason to think that we're not going to return to this stock to flow model. I think we'll see that. The new pool, let's just check out where the new pool is over the last.
Did they pull up that other new pool that I pulled? The entity adjusted new pool? No?
No. Do not see that. Do not see
Well,
that.
we'll need to pull that up. I think that's interesting to look at for next time. Basically,
We'll do it
it's
tomorrow, yeah.
a new pool with a lot of the institutional big money pulled out. And if you're looking at that, it's deep in the red.
Gotcha.
Meaning, like, really good time to accumulate.
Really good time to accumulate there. Okay. Why is this not... This isn't even showing the actual new pool chart. It's not overlaying. I think we're just having problems with graphics right now.
Yeah. Everything's loading really, really slow.
Yeah, it's really weird. Okay, El Salvador to buy an estimated $135 million worth of Bitcoin. The Central American nation of El Salvador is preparing to give away as much as $135 million worth of Bitcoin to its citizens. On Thursday, they announced everyone will receive $30 worth of Bitcoin. Now, there was another story out also about, I can't remember where this story was. Basically, they were saying about how countries that are willing to accept Bitcoin as legal tender, they need to be ready because there's going to be a lot of backlash. Mm-hmm. And I don't doubt that a bit. We've already seen a lot of that backlash happening, but this is not going to deter. Like, guys, if you're El Salvador, what you got to lose?
Yep. The upside's much greater than the downside.
Absolutely. According to on-chain analyst Willie Wu, if all 4.5 million Salvadorans opt to receive the free Bitcoin, it'll instantly grow the Bitcoin user network by 2.5%. I feel like we covered this story last Friday.
We definitely
this
did.
exact story.
Yep.
But let's look up the El Salvador. Let's look up the one I was talking about. Let's see where it is. Let's click news here. This is it right here. El Salvador. Nope. Here it is. It's from CoinDesk, which, by the way, we will now be referring to Cointelegraph as Cointellalaugh. That will be the only way we announce that. I put a picture of old Grisha Fishman on my Twitter. You saw that?
Yeah.
The funny thing is, people were saying, because I said, imagine getting your crypto news from this guy. And everybody's like, why are you attacking this guy? I'm like, guys, please, be for real. This guy is manipulating your news cycle. No sympathy for this guy. I could come on here and I could talk about like specific hedge funds, and you would have people that come on here and be like, well, that hedge fund is really nice. Come on, guys. Okay, El Salvador's Bitcoin fee problem and solutions. Here is some FUD going here for this. You want me to read that one up there?
Yeah, just fine.
Yeah, no, it's fine. 2017 took less than 3 months to hit the top of the market. If we start going parabolic in July, that puts the top near the end of September. Might be spot on with the prediction. I still think we're going to be. I do still think we're going to be spot on with that. So here we go. First FUD story about fees for El Salvador. Bitcoin fees would make the crypto mostly unusable for Salvadorans. Here's how the first country.BTC plans to tackle the problem. There were two big pieces of news yesterday out of El Salvador. Let's say it again, which will become the first country in the world to treat Bitcoin as legal tender. Let's see, where are the two stories? Where are the two things there? Let's see. Does it say what the two? It says there are two problems. In the course of the announcement, the president said the use of Bitcoin will be optional, but may reassure those concerned about any coercive elements of the law. Even more interesting, we talked about that, where they're giving away $30. Yeah, I thought this was interesting. They're gonna have a state-backed crypto wallet. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't know. State-backed crypto. Well, I guess it depends on who the wallet is. Is it self-custody? Not. I mean, I guess they're still going to see all your transactions, which is a little weird. So, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah.
Not loving it.
Yeah, it's a little, I don't know.
But they kind of have to do it. I understand, like, from a logistical standpoint, why it makes sense, but wouldn't be the first wallet I choose.
Yeah. I talked about ICP earlier in the stream. If somebody wants to go back, we already talked about that. But the amount might invite skepticism if you've been paying attention to Bitcoin metrics in recent months. In April, the average fee peaked out at $63. Fees were at or near $30 for 2 weeks in late April, which during which time $30 in Bitcoin wallet would have been prohibitively slow or expensive to use for stuff. And guys, they're talking about all these fees and all these problems. And you know, the fact is there are fees and problems with Bitcoin, and we know that. And that's why, like, I really have a hard time trying to figure out, like, I'm caught in kind of a conundrum with all this. On one hand, it's great. We love Bitcoin. We love adoption. We love people accepting it, right? But on the other hand, like, common sense wise, like, you don't want to spend your Bitcoin. So you've got all these people in El Salvador, they're going to be getting $30 of Bitcoin, and they've looked at the price go up for, you know, however long they've known about it, and they're going to say, well, why would I spend this if it could be worth twice as much? When you look, and it says that the average yearly income is $4,000 per year. $30 is pretty significant when you only make $4,000 per year. So it's just one of those things where I feel like I don't know how it's going to work. I don't know. I mean, I want adoption, right? But Bitcoin is not the currency we're going to be using, I don't think, in the future. We do know there was a big story overnight that came out about the United States working on the digital dollar. That's coming. FedCoin is what some people are calling it. We're going to have all these CBDCs. We're going to have the digital yuan. The digital yuan?
Yuan.
No, I'm going to call it the digital yuan from now on. The digital yuan. Digital yuan. So, but the point is Bitcoin is too slow, in my opinion, to work really. I mean, there's the lightning channels people are opening up. But so we'll have to see what happens. I think it's a positive thing that this is happening, but we should have a healthy skepticism of all of this. Even when El Salvador is saying they're going to have a state-run wallet, we should have a healthy skepticism of that. It's kind of a fun time in crypto, though. You know, like, even though the prices are down, we don't actually know what the future looks like for crypto.
Yeah.
It's shaping up to be maybe a hybrid of what a lot of us have thought. You know, maybe it is going to be currency and digital gold at the same time. I don't know. I don't see how that can really work, but
yeah, we'll see. That's what makes it fun. Every day, you never know what's going to happen next.
Yeah. I mean, that's much more fun than the same story every day. Bitcoin's hash rate drops 40% to 1-year low in preparation for the largest difficulty adjustment. And can you, am I on the screen there? Am I cut off on the left side of the screen, or is that the chat in front of that where I can't see it?
No, yeah, you need to scoot over.
Okay. All right. I tried to do that.
Yeah. No, you're just zoomed in.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go.
But that's better. I like it when it's like that. Okay. While the network prepares for perhaps the largest negative difficulty adjustment in its history, BTC hash rate has declined since its lowest value since June 2020. I think this is a good time for me to talk about the way this difficulty adjustment works and why, when we see people saying that, you know, China is banning mining, and like, that doesn't mean the Bitcoin network is not going to continue on. The way the adjustment works is the more people that are mining, the more difficult that it is to mine, right? It keeps very healthy competition in the Bitcoin mining industry. And so if all of the miners in Bitcoin got shut down tomorrow, new miners would replace them in other parts of the world. But in the meantime, they would just adjust the difficulty to be much easier because many, many less people would be mining. And so it's not like if all of a sudden all these Chinese mining operations that are 60% of the Bitcoin hash rate, if they all got shut down, it's not like that 60% wouldn't automatically get filled. That's one of the beautiful things about proof of work and about the way that Bitcoin works. So you shouldn't be worried about any of this stuff. This is just kind of something that's going to make Bitcoin easier to mine in the short term. So if you were thinking about mining, who knows? Maybe this might be a good time to start. I always tell people, if you want to mine for a hobby, that's pretty fun.
It's a good way to learn.
Yeah. The effects of the Chinese crackdown on Bitcoin mining continue to harm the network as the hash rate is dumped to its yearly low of below 90 e-hash per second. This comes just days before the next difficulty adjustment, which is expected to be one of the largest in Bitcoin history. The world's most populated nation decided to intensify its hostile actions against the crypto industry in May this year when it went after Bitcoin mining. Being the country responsible for over 60%, wow, I nailed that one on the head, 60% of the mining at that point, it was inevitable that the network will suffer, especially after the Chinese authority ordered several regions to halt all such procedures. Now, I tell you, once again, I don't believe any of this. The situation has only worsened since Crypto Potato's most recent coverage less than a week ago. Hash rate has decreased to around 100 e-hash per second. The metric even dumped to 83. Back in May, when the Chinese government started to crack down on mining, the difficulty dropped from 25T to 21T, went through another negative adjustment. On-chain data shows that the next one should take place in about 4 days and should decrease the difficulty by more than 23% to 15T. Should it happen as such, this would be the largest negative difficulty adjustment in Bitcoin's history. Now, one thing that we've seen over time is we have seen that when hash rate gets to its lowest, that's generally good entry points for Bitcoin. And so I'm sure Glassnode has something on this. Let's see, they have mining here, miners.
Yeah, it's another good bottom indicator.
It is. Let's see, do we have hash rate? Let's see here. Let's go to 5 years and look at that. Wow, look at that. This is the lowest it's been since 19, the summer of 2019. Wow. But if you look at when it's had really large drops, like if you look here, it dropped from 137 to, I can't even get down that low. I can't get there. It looks like 75. When it dropped there, look what happened. You had a big run up following that. When you look here, you had another major drop followed by another move up. So this is a little different though, because this is like there's some fundamentals going on here with miners having to shut down that are compounding this to go down. So you look when the mining difficulty went down in the at the end of 2018. That again represented a really good entry point. And you guys got to understand when you're comparing prices to metrics, that the one thing to really think about, especially when you're looking at over the last year and a half, is that pandemic crash threw like a lot of stuff off. There's a lot of very uncommon behavior in a bear market that we saw because of that, or the beginning of a bull market. We should have never went back down to $3,900, right? When we saw Bitcoin start climbing at the beginning of 2020, if the pandemic had not happened, which was not baked into the price, we would have never gotten a very significant drop where the price went from like $10,000 all the way down to $3,900. We would have never gotten that drop. So when you look back here and you look at this bear market, this really should have been the absolute bottom. We should have never tested that again over here. But because of the pandemic, obviously, caused a lot of chaos. And I don't know, you can think maybe I guess you can kind of think of like one black swan event for every market pretty much happened somewhere here or there. So in a way it wasn't baked in, but I mean, I guess, kind of traumatic things happening in the markets. It usually does happen probably once a year, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, usually.
Elizabeth Earl Crudello, she says, TJ is hotness. He's still single, ladies. Still single. He's got a dog. So,
Yeah.
and he likes Cardano and black T-shirts.
Yeah.
For all the ladies in the chat, do you guys think TJ should get some new colors in his clothes, or do you love the black? Because I saw he's returning some shirts that had color on it. I was very disappointed by that. Very disappointed by that. I wore a black shirt. Now, if I wear a black shirt, I just think I'm TJ.
Yeah,
and so I
you
try
feel
to
like you're
change.
dressing like me. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just so convenient.
It really is.
It's
It really
easy.
is. Bitcoin mining hash rate hits new 13-month low. This is kind of the same story. Let's see if there's anything new in here. $1 trillion mistake. Bitcoin maximalist CEO MicroStrategy Michael Saylor recently, thank you for that super chat, Scott, recently commented on the country's move, calling it a $1 trillion mistake. He added China had 50% market share. Look, guys, this is what I'm saying. Like, are you starting to see clearly? Are you starting to have the scales lifted off your eyes on a lot of this stuff? If you've been watching this channel for a while, then you should know, like, we're starting to figure out some things that are going on. Guys, this is not a good thing for China. China getting rid of Bitcoin mining and removing power from itself sounds very counterintuitive to what they like to do. I would say there's a 0% chance we're getting the full story here. So we just got to continue to check this out. Shannon Sharp, not the former tight end for the Denver Broncos and Baltimore Ravens. Shannon Sharp says blue shirts, teal, salmon colored, gray. I don't know. So I don't know. They want to see you in some different shirts, TJ.
Somebody also said something about you wearing a denim shirt. Did you wear a denim shirt?
Yeah, I have a lot of denim shirts. Denim's kind of in. Yeah, I have a lot of denim shirts. Though I have a lot of black denim shirts.
Interesting.
I have like 5 in there. I wear them all the time. What do you mean? What's wrong with that?
Like a button down?
Yeah, several of them.
Interesting. I've just never noticed. I'm not a big.
Well, they don't. I mean, they don't look like.
Denim.
You know, I guess you're picturing it in your brain. But yeah, I've got like several of them.
Not like a blue jean button down shirt.
I mean, it kind of is, but kind of not. It's very thin. They're very thin. I think that's what throws it off.
Got it.
Okay. By the way, I also want to bring up this story before we get too far into this. This was a guy that, like, you want to talk about getting, finding out what's happening in the real world? Let's see where it is here. Bitcoin billionaire dies. Here it is. Billionaire Bitcoiner
Oh yeah.
Merce Popescu. Oh, 12,000 viewers. Great. We got it back. I was really worried today. 3,900 likes. If you guys could do us a favor, smash that like button. Let's try to get at least to 6,000 likes today. If you're watching on mobile, please go ahead and make sure to X off the live chat. Hit the like button. Then you can bring the live chat back up with the icon. If you're watching on a smart TV, go to the bottom left-hand side of your screen, hit more options or more actions, and then hit react, and you can like the video. Liza says, black is sexy on TJ. Forest green would look good. See, you guys, but it's not black. He doesn't get out of it. TJ's dream is to find a girl that loves the fact that he only wears black and khaki every day.
No,
I think you're going to have a hard time finding that, TJ.
It's really not about that. It's finding somebody that will just help me not have to think about it. I just don't want to think about it.
Oh.
It's not that I have anything against color. It's just if I have 20 of one thing that works every single day, it eliminates that decision. So I don't
Would you like to have 20 of me?
Ooh, no. That'd be way too much. I don't even know if I could handle 2.
Somebody said they want shirtless Ben. That's what
boy.
they say.
Well, that can be
We'll probably be
arranged.
going shirt. Oh, Leslie Harder says she's that girl. I've got your girl. Leslie, you can send TJ an email. No,
don't put my email out.
Don't put it out there. Yeah. So, yeah, I want to hook you up. If you would have TJ, I mean, I would like to see y'all go out on a little date. Hey, that would be good content. TJ goes on dates
Maybe
with the Bit Squad.
maybe
TJ dates the Bit Squad.
An NFT drop, maybe.
Yes, where if you have a special NFT, you can.
Take me out.
Billionaire Bitcoiner Merce Popescu reportedly dead by drowning. How does that sound to y'all? Billionaire drowns.
That's me right after I go out on a date with somebody from the community.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, man. Maybe you should just stick with me. Maybe that's it.
Maybe.
We have a good thing, TJ.
We'll go on a boating accident together.
Yeah, that's right. Which we talked to, we're looking at hiring another new person, and she came in on Friday, and we interviewed her. It went really well, and we talked to her about some stuff. And she was like, what are y'all?
Me and you.
Yeah. And I think it was I don't know if I'm supposed to say that, but your assistant said, she said, "Oh, you know how they are on the live stream? That's exactly how they are in real life all the time." I realize people don't really know that, I guess, about us, that we really are like this 100% of the time.
Yeah, this
is not a show.
This is the real us, right?
It's
here.
a real us. Yeah. So we got this guy that died. Now, here's what's significant about this story, other than the fact that we could kind of get into the conspiracies about this, Russian bill. I think he's Russian. This billionaire that lost all his money. A lot of people say this guy was a big loner, and this is billions of. Now, this is one of those, like, I don't want to be like, all right, this guy died, awesome. But at the same time, this is a very sad story. But if he actually, is a loner like people said he was, there's a good chance that he didn't leave these keys to anybody, and he wasn't expecting to drown. They never are. That this might be billions more dollars that's out of the Bitcoin supply. And if you didn't know this, over 4 million Bitcoin out of the 18.7 million at this point are estimated to be unrecoverable. Mm-hmm. So it's actually closer to about a 14 million circulating supply. And this could definitely add to that. So sad story. But also, we want to talk about this story here. Analysts on Bitcoin's price. This movement is coming over the next few weeks. Bitcoin, the largest crypto bloodshed. Bloodshed? Oh, it's bloodshed has created a sense of panic. I guess that makes sense. Consider this. A few days ago, Bitcoin dropped below the long-held support at 30K, hitting the lowest level since January 28th. At the time of this writing, the coin was trading below the 34K mark. After witnessing this incline, one might point at BTC's reverse signs. Also, factors such as long-term hodlers, we already talked about this. Will Clemente, this guy is getting a lot of coverage in the news.
Definitely.
I don't even, do we even follow him?
I saw some of
I don't even know if I can search it.
Tweets. The search has been really bad on there. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's really bad. What in the world is going on with that?
I don't know.
But anyways, he said, Bitcoin is deeply undervalued in the eyes of experienced market participants, and they're starting to buy discounted BTC. When you're in an asset like this, you should watch the people that have been in the market for a long time. This is showing an aggregate that the people that have been in the market the longest are buying right now heavily. He reiterated, Bitcoin is still in the middle of a bull market as long-term investors continue to scale into the top crypto asset. And this is what you'll see consistently, guys. And this is why, like, look, we definitely don't want to diminish new people, right? Like, if you are new to crypto, we love you. You are part of this. We want you to know that one day you are going to be rich. One day you are going to crush it if you haven't been crushing it already. 4 years of hodling through a market cycle will do that for every person every time. That's what we've seen, okay? But what I want to say is when you're getting your news, we need new content creators too. I love, like, Blockchain Boy. This guy came out of nowhere. He's been in crypto for a long time. Started making crypto content on TikTok. He's done really well, phenomenal. I don't know how long he's been doing it for, maybe a year or something like that. We need that fresh blood in. We need new people coming in creating content. That's why we have Around the Blockchain. We have new people on. We want to lift up the entire space. But you need a well-rounded perspective from not just new people, but for people who have been through this market for multiple years. This is my third cycle, third one. I've seen almost everything there is to see in this market, okay? And somebody that's new, you cannot replace education with experience.
Nope.
Ever. That goes for anything out there. So you can get as educated as you want, but until you go through a full market cycle, you're not going to have the experience to understand the way that a lot of this stuff happens. And that's why we just keep holding and we keep buying and we keep moving in because we're very confident it's coming back.
Well, it's funny. I was actually talking to Eron about that this morning while we were getting ready for the live stream. He was saying how he feels stupid for not converting his altcoins over for Bitcoin, a few weeks ago. He's like, man, I could have had way more Bitcoin if I did it then. And I was like, yeah, you saw us get raked over the coals for converting a lot of those lower cap altcoins back into stable coins and Bitcoin.
And it worked.
And then it worked. And then when the big dip came, we scooped up a bunch more Bitcoin and we're a lot happier for it. And he was like, his exact response was like, wow, maybe it's almost like you guys have done this before. And it was exactly what you said. Like, you just can't replace any level of education with experience and time in the market. Like, because it's just gut stuff that you're like, oh, it's felt like this before. I remember having these feelings last time. I'm going to do something different than what I did last time. And then you get better results.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, TJ, somebody says they want you to date someone like me.
Yeah, that is
Why not just have the real thing? I'm married, ladies. I'm married. Sorry. And TJ. I'm married, TJ.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. So, also somebody said Blockchain Boy exposes rug pulls. Yeah, sure.
He does.
We love Blockchain Boy. He's on the show multiple times.
Yeah.
My point is, I'm just saying we need new content creators. He's a newer content creator. I'm not saying he's not a great person to listen to. I'm just saying we need new people in the space, but you need a well-rounded, perspective from people that have been around. And Blockchain Boy just started creating content, but he's been around since 2016, I believe. So, I was just using an example. It's a newer person rising up that I thought about. So
yeah, we need a lot more of that.
Yeah. So are we gonna do this thing?
Let's do it.
Yeah. Let's bring on Piano Matty. He's been watching in the corner.
He's been hanging out. Boom. There he is. Oh, listen to that.
How you doing?
I'm good. That voice is so good. Yeah. Does he not have the greatest
It's the mic.
voice? It's the mic. It's the mic. They tell me my mic is not good. So this is Matty B, guys. If you didn't know, he did a video for us last week where he covered some technical analysis right as Bitcoin was, I believe, crashing, and then it bounced back up. It's when it hit 28,000 that day. And you guys know we talked a few weeks ago about wanting to bring on a TA expert onto the channel to help us create some more content. And Matty B's the guy. He's the guy that out of all the submissions, we felt like we really loved what he did. So if you could, Matt, just tell us a little bit about yourself, and we're going to talk about the markets just for a few minutes after that.
Sure. Well, I mean, first off, thanks for having me on. Obviously, this is crazy exciting. I'm a musician and entrepreneur up in Canada. I've had many small businesses from a poker business all the way to a nightclub and literally everything in between. And I wanted to be a business owner to not have a boss. But then I soon realized that every business, all your customers and clients are just little bosses. So I wanted to find something that I could do that didn't have a boss or a client or a customer, and it was trading currency. And so I asked a buddy, can you teach me how to trade currency, because he was doing it, and he said, no, teach yourself. I said, okay, thanks. And then it was very expensive because I had to learn the hard way of just making a ton of losing trades till eventually I started making winning trades before I blew my stash out. So as your viewers know, and when you get into the finance market, you learn an uncommon knowledge of true economics, right? Not the BS that you're taught in university, right? And so it kind of irked me for a bit. I wasn't too in love with the legacy financial system. And so I didn't want to put my time on earth or my financial energy into the system. So I exited and started playing music again. Then a couple years later, I ran into a musician friend who was probably the only guy in Winnipeg trading currency. This was circa 2017 crash, maybe early capitulation. And after talking to him, I just went back and started researching and watching the charts. And I realized that Bitcoin was way more than a part of a legacy financial system. It was potentially the new financial system right in front of my eyes. And once that light bulb went on, that was it. And here I am.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that you are Brad Pitt. Is this confirmed?
No, it isn't confirmed. I actually think it's the not so beard, the Technicolor dream beard. I call it.
I love it, actually, to be honest with you.
Also, he's another fan of the black shirt.
Yeah, he is a fan of.
That's right.
Maddie can hear you.
Yeah, he can.
Great.
Yeah,
he loves a black shirt.
Yeah,
and also he loves a Hold on, I'm trying to think of which a cabbie hat. I don't know what you call that. What do you call that hat? It's not a beret, is it?
It is a beret.
No, it's not a beret.
It's a great question.
Yeah.
We called it Sammy hat.
Sammy hat.
Like when I was little, a Sammy hat. And it has no correlation and makes no sense, but that's what we call it, a Sammy hat.
I think it jives. It jives real good. So just so you guys know, what we're going to be doing is Maddie is going to be coming on every morning, and he's going to do a little TA session, playing the piano. You guys are going to be waking up in the morning. You're going to be having your coffee, drinking your bang, whatever you got to do, sipping on your hot tea. And he's just going to break down the market, tell you what's going on every morning. This will be before our live stream, kind of the same time we posted the one a couple weeks ago. So, Maddie, let's talk about Bitcoin for just a minute. Somebody said it's a Jimmy hat. That's interesting. A Jimmy hat. I don't think that's what that is, guys. But let's talk about what do you think is going on with the market right now in general. We're not going to ask you to pull up any TA right now, but just kind of what is your general feeling? Here we go as we sit at the very end of June, heading into July.
Well, I mean, since the last video, we were still in the crazy hot girlfriend tantrum consolidation channel. And I think just being in there for the next little while isn't a bad thing. I mean, it's time to just sit back and look at the end game, because we're all early adopters in here. So this is a crazy Bitcoin story we're all telling. And I mean, I'm positive I know where it's going. It may not get there as fast as we want it, but it's going up. We just have to kind of wait and see what she's going to do in this channel. I think by the end of July, we're going to be right back to the stock to flow.
I love it. Yeah, that's kind of what I tend to believe, that we're going to at least be getting back on track for that. And if people go and they look at the stock to flow chart, in general, what Bitcoin has done is when it gets to the end, towards the end of that cycle, it goes up, quite considerably in a short period of time. It gets above the average price. Let me ask you this. What is your, and I know, like, I tend to look a lot at fundamental analysis, the history of Bitcoin. You're coming from the TA perspective. I know Fibonacci numbers are something that you're really big on. What is kind of your forecast of what you think we're going to see for this Bitcoin bull run? Do you think we're going to see it obviously come back and, be heading back up towards stock to flow, like you said, and then towards the end of the year, it's going to top out? Or do you more subscribe to like a super cycle where it's just going to go up, for a longer period of time? Do you think the 4-year cycles are broken? What is kind of your opinion on the general forecast of Bitcoin over the next year?
Well, that's an interesting question, because there's a couple of weird aspects of this market. So the financial attention that humanity is giving Bitcoin right now is 1%. That's it. 1% of the financial attention of humanity is in Bitcoin right now. So if we see a massive pump, it's going to gain more attention. And I don't necessarily think about it goes to 2. That means this whole thing doubles. Yeah. From 1% to 2%, this whole crazy Bitcoin atmosphere doubles just by 1 to 2. So I think we're going to have a bunch of attention chasing the price that will keep it, from ever coming back down here. I think this is part of the crazy story that we're going to be telling everyone for the rest of our lives, when Bitcoin was in this channel before it made its glorious run to the top.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you, for almost every year of my life, I have great Bitcoin stories. I look back at, whether it was in 2012 when I first got into it, or it was 2013 when I sold it like an idiot, whether it was 2014, Mt. Gox crash, 2015 was kind of meh, but then 2016, obviously, things started kicking off for the bull run. And, I started questioning a lot of my life choices of selling Bitcoin very early that I shouldn't have done. But Matty, thank you so much for coming on today. So I guess starting tomorrow, we'll have some videos. Yeah. So starting tomorrow. Yeah, we're excited. We think this is going to be great because, number one, as you guys can see, Matty is awesome. He plays the piano.
I was going to say, do you have your piano hooked up? We do have some requests for a little, play us out, maybe Bitcoin Morning TA or something like that.
Bitcoin morning TA. Oh, I have the electric piano on it.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the jingle.
That's the jingle.
We'll be hearing that a lot. Can you hear the piano, or is it just a cappella?
We can hear it.
Sounds perfect.
All right, on.
Yeah.
All right, Matty. Well, thanks for coming on.
I'm excited, guys. I can't wait.
Yep. We will see you tomorrow. You guys make sure to tune back in, probably somewhere between 9:30 a.m. is when that video will get posted. So you guys watch for that. And Matty, we will talk to you later.
Right on,
bro.
Right.
Boom.
That was a very smooth interview. Smooth like jazz.
That's fun.
That's good. So we got interviews worked out. We're going to have more people on the channel for interviews, I think. I'll get Crown from Crown's Crypto Cave on maybe by the end of this week.
Okay.
So talk to him about that.
It's easy now. We're all set up.
Perfect.
Thanks for joining us, Matt.
Yep.
You can close that and nothing will
Okay.
change.
Yeah. I can. There we go.
No, well, I was talking
I
to
just
him.
did. Oh, I closed it.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah. Sorry, Matt. See ya. Had a good run. He's awesome. And look, we had a lot of good submissions. And look, I want you guys to understand, when we ask for positions, when we ask for resumes and things like that, we know we get a lot of people that love us, that love what we do. And we think people can offer different things, but everybody's not going to be right for a certain position. We're going to have a lot more positions in the future open. And so some of you guys that sent in submissions, like, we really like what you did. It just wasn't the right time now, but you're definitely going to still be on our radar, a lot of you guys. So we love our community. We're only hiring from our community from now on. That's the truth. We love people. We love people that love us. It's not very hard to do. Okay, so let's move on here. We got Bitcoin. Even gold-obsessed Indians are pouring billions into crypto. And I'm telling you guys, watch for two places over the next 5 years. India and the Middle East.
Yep.
Watch for these places with what they do with crypto. We're already starting to see some moving pieces in the Middle East. I think, didn't one Middle Eastern country recently say they were considering accepting, was it Iran?
Accepting what?
Bitcoin is legal tender?
Tanzania, that's not.
No, that's Africa.
Yeah.
Middle East.
Iran.
Oh, let me pull that story up. Yeah. So, 30 licenses, you said? Oh, I'll just put, so it was Iran. Put Iran. So Iran is planning a legal framework for crypto, even as Bitcoin mining remains restricted. Yeah, so it looks like they have 30 licenses to maybe start accepting crypto. Watch these two places. I'm hearing a lot of stuff out in the Middle East. So we'll get back to India, but I do want you guys to be paying attention to the Middle East. A lot of big stuff happening over there with crypto. So here we go. We got the crypto aficionados mantra that Bitcoin is equivalent to digital gold is winning converts among the biggest holders of the precious metal.
Palestine.
What's that?
Palestine was another one
Palestine.
that I thought I heard.
In India, where households own more than 25,000 tons of gold, investments in crypto grew from about 200 million to nearly 40 billion in the past year, according to Chainalysis. As despite outright hostility towards the asset class from the central bank and a proposed trading ban, the only thing more fresh than the China trading ban is an India trading ban. We love those. Richie Sood, a 32-year-old entrepreneur, is one who swerved from gold to crypto. It's a she. She put in just over 1 million rupees, some of it borrowed from her father, into Bitcoin, Dogecoin, and Ether. She's been fortunate in her timing. She cashed out part of her position when Bitcoin smashed through 50,000, so that was smart. Make sure you're taking profits as it goes back up. She said, I'd rather put my money in crypto than gold. Crypto is more transparent than gold, or property and returns are more in a short period of time. The growth in India is coming from the 18 to 35-year-old cohort. And guys, I mean, you just got to understand. Generation Z is coming in this hard. There's no way the Generation Z is going to want to be buying physical gold. Generation Z wants to reject everything traditional. I don't know if you guys have caught on to that. Traditional markets, traditional precious metals, traditional, I don't know, morals, logic. I don't know, maybe some of that too. But they want to reject things that are traditional. And crypto is the total, prototype for that in money markets. And it's not just people that are the Generation Z, the younger millennials, anywhere from 25 to 35. I'm an older millennial, but 25 to 35, these people understand crypto better. If you try to explain the stock market to somebody in that age range, they're going to actually have a much easier time understanding crypto. I believe that 100%. I talked to a buddy of mine, who's just starting to get into crypto. And he told me that he had contacted a guy about investing in the stock market. It was a guy that we actually went to high school with and has done really well in the stock market. But like the thing is like, if you want to change your life, investing in the stock market is just not going to do it. You already have to have money to make money on the stock market. Crypto, you can start with a few $1,000s and you can get to retirement money from it. We've seen it time after time after time. It's so funny when we go to these Bitcoin conferences and we see people that were poor 5 years ago. They're all millionaires now.
Yep. And,
it's very refreshing to see that crypto offers that opportunity to people. And people around the world are starting to see that too. Which, by the way, the guy randomly had texted me about Theta. He's like, hey, do you think Theta is a good coin? This guy, he doesn't know that much about crypto. He's just starting to get into it a little bit. And I was like, yeah, I really like it. It's kind of hard to buy. Have you heard of Simple Swap? Simpleswap.io.
It sounds familiar.
You can buy almost every coin on there. Huh. Here, I'll pull it up real quick.
It's a DEX.
Now look, hey, this could be a scam. I don't know anything about it other than I saw it. So be careful, do your own research. But it's simpleswap.io. It reminds me kind of like Changelly a little bit. I think it's kind of in the vein of Changelly. And you can actually look at all these coins they have listed. ZRX, 1 inch, Aave, Avigache, AC Milan, Fan Token, Ergo. Avalanche is on here, also a coin, hard to buy for Americans. You can get on here. Theta is on here. So very interesting. So
I wonder who's behind it.
yeah, the guy who told him about this, about Theta, watches my channel and knows me, but he doesn't know that my friend knows me, which I think is pretty funny.
And they've got exchange partners with most of the big ones, except for Coinbase.
It's in the Marshall Islands. Okay, well, cool. If you're looking to buy Theta, no financial advice, but Theta is one that we really strongly believe in, and I think is going to be. I think Theta is a strong contender to be a top 10 coin in the near future.
It is very good. It's also on Binance US, but yeah.
Theta is?
Yeah, pretty sure.
As of when?
Long time.
No,
that's where. Yeah,
that's not where ours is.
Okay, well, it's there. I helped my brother buy it on there.
Let me look.
It's either there's only a handful of places. Maybe it's. I know it's on KuCoin too, but I'm pretty sure Theta's on Binance US.
It is not on Binance US.
Okay.
That's UTC market. That's USD. Bitcoin. I don't see it on here anywhere. I know we couldn't buy it on there. That was a big problem. We did a Theta video and everybody complained because they couldn't buy it anywhere because it was only on Binance.com. Yeah, they're saying no, it's not. It is not on there.
No, it must be KuCoin.
Well, somebody's saying yes, TJ's right. Other people are saying no, it's not.
I just remember helping. I know he bought it, and I helped him do it, and I could have sworn it was Binance.
Yeah, people are saying no. So I don't know. So Theta's a hard one to buy, is the long and short of it. And some people are saying it was. It's not now. I don't know.
That's what it was.
I don't know. That may be what happened. So, but look, simpleswap.io, to me, they may charge a really high fee, but it looks like a good place to possibly get Theta if you want. Or Avalanche. Avalanche is another one to get on. They're saying it's on KuCoin. Okay, I didn't know Theta was even on KuCoin. I think it's actually newer to KuCoin, maybe. So yeah, people are saying SimpleSwap's legit. Okay, pretty interesting.
It probably
stuff.
Was KuCoin. Because those are the three I said everybody on, like Coinbase, MetaMask, Binance US, and KuCoin should get you 97% of the stuff you want. Yeah,
exactly. So KuCoin has the most high quality coins.
Yeah,
it's got some low quality ones too. Deep Brain Chain you can still get. Do not get Deep Brain Chain.
Do not.
That was not a shill. I'm not telling you to go. Deep Brain Chain's a dead project, but it's still on there, and it has movement sometimes. Which is
one
really
of my
funny.
biggest losers.
That's why we joke about it. TJ lost a lot of money on it.
Yeah, and it was funny when Blockchain Boy on Around the Blockchain the other day was talking about security tokens.
Yeah.
I was having flashbacks to the interview I did with you at Bitcoin 2019, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And we were talking about security tokens, and you were like, security tokens, those are never going to happen. It was just funny. Polymath.
I'm just saying they never happened.
They didn't. Oh, I agreed.
I was right.
Yeah. But I let, because he was shilling a security token. And, it might work out, but
yeah. Go ahead.
I was just going to say Polymath was another one of those that was supposed to be bringing security token, STOs, basically, securitized token offerings. Never panned out. Lost a lot of money.
Well, it just didn't make sense. It was just trying, to me, the reason why I said it, I didn't think it would, pan out. You can go into the next thing. But the reason why I didn't think it was going to pan out is like everybody's saying, this is the next big thing. But like, it wasn't the big thing.
Right.
You don't usually know what the next big thing is until it happens. We made all kinds of predictions about what we think will be the next market, the next hot thing. And it just doesn't really work out that way. We've done videos where we try to look at all these different niches that could be next. And when they come out of nowhere. NFTs popped out of nowhere. They've been around for years. DeFi had been around for about a year when it popped off. Exchange coins, when they blew up, it was out of nowhere. So it's just kind of hard to... Brian, if you ever sneeze while I'm live streaming again...
What's funny is the mic doesn't pick up the
I know,
sneeze.
it's only I can hear it. It's good. But that was an Easter egg for Brian more than the people in the chat. I love Brian. He's great. We love him. Okay, asset managers suddenly become Bitcoin bulls at the CME. Wow. Look at that.
That's a bull right there.
That's a bull. With Bitcoin prices briefly dipping below 30,000 on Tuesday, various investors seeing a downslide to possibly 20K. Growing number of asset managers have begun betting on short-term rise on the crypto at the CME. Now, the CME, Chicago Mercantile Exchange. So people are saying you buy Theta on Craigslist. That's really interesting.
Wow.
I would not buy Theta on Craigslist.
Don't buy any crypto on Craigslist.
No, I have a lot of
a peer-to-peer transaction with somebody you met in person. And if you do that, make sure you know your stuff.
Hey, somebody heard that sneeze. TJ sneezed actually 3 times at the Hawks game last night. He held it in. You know the hold-ins? He's like, did it 3 times. I was very impressed. We lost last night. I was very sad. We should have won. We were up by 7 points.
Brutal.
We only scored a few more points the rest of the game. It was really sad. So
Hawks can't close.
y'all got to know how much I love my sports teams. It's very sad when they lose.
Brutal being an Atlanta
But hey,
sports fan.
it's absolutely brutal. But we still look. It's not over yet. It's not over. I mean, if we lose the next home game, it'll be over. Even though it won't be over.
It's
But
still fun, but it's brutal.
yeah, it's brutal.
We like the punishment.
The latest CFTC data for June 15th shows asset managers having 517 long Bitcoin futures contracts, which bet on a rise in Bitcoin prices. 35% increase over the previous week. Last time asset managers had more than 500 long futures contracts was in Q4 2020 when Bitcoin prices initiated a string of record highs. And this shows you the difference between the bets. And you can see what's really interesting here. This is the highest amount of futures bets going long since January 19th. That is pretty significant. And notice this, even as the price has been going down, this number has generally been rising. And now at 517, a significant rise over the last, over June 8th. So I wonder what our, I wonder how many contracts got rolled into the September 25th, which, by the way, September 25th is the next futures contracts close for the quarter, for quarter 3. You guys know when we predicted into the bull market, September 28th, give or take a week, exactly what I've said, give or take a week on either side. That would be really interesting if that shaped out to be the real top of this market. I think it could be. All right, so let's see. This is more about that. Let's see here. This begs the question, why did a group of sophisticated and experienced investors suddenly boost their long bets on Bitcoin? First, it's worth noting that asset managers as a group have some unique investment traits. They do not show the always long or always short behavior of other market participants, making them more opportunistic and often contrarian traders, especially in highly cyclical industries. After Bitcoin had its record high of $64,900 on April 14th, asset managers were quick to boost their short positions and profited handsomely as Bitcoin corrected all the way to $30,000, almost like they knew it was coming. Am I right? Mm-hmm. There could be other factors at play as well. For instance, many asset managers may have received mandates to gain scale in Bitcoin before wading into other assets, which makes sense given that Bitcoin has much more established derivatives markets than Ethereum. It says, that said, the data, well, let's look at let's hear. Data from other participants is not all bearish for Bitcoin either. One reason, 3 of the 5 hedge funds, corporations, or retail traders diversify their crypto holdings into Ether. Overall level of activity from these groups remains consistent for the year. This data leaves us with 2 key takeaways. Asset managers are major participants that drive the bulk of other futures markets, such as Euro futures, and attract banks take the opposite trade of their trades in whatever market they operate. Therefore, it is reasonable to expect their participation to grow as any market or as the market matures. Number 2, hedge funds have been operating as the largest market makers for the crypto space, and it is welcome news if asset managers and banks grow to rival hedge funds in liquidity provisioning. The more liquidity, the more future growth and tighter pricing offered by futures markets. Number 3, looking ahead. The reshuffle of asset manager open interest suggests that most of them believe that we are close to the bottom of the current bearish sentiment and that Bitcoin could start to climb again. Very interesting. All of this continues to back up what I've been telling you guys. And I see the people that come into the chat that say, it's obvious the bull market's over. When are you going to give up the ghost? Wave the white flag. You know what I wish we did? I wish we took screenshots of all those chats. That's what I wish we did. And then we can make a bull statue out of it. Yeah, that sounds very blasphemous. Well, the point is here, we have not changed in what we've said. And you guys know what? I'm not a dummy. I can look at the sentiment on the market and know that there are times when we've been very dangerous to teetering on a dangerous place. But I don't think we're there. I think history is going to look back very kindly on the way that we've handled things on this channel and the way that we've told you guys, even in the deepest, darkest times, that we're still bullish. There will be a time when we are not bullish, and that time is not today. All right, guys, that's all we got for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. We got 5 p.m. around the blockchain. We got a crypto report on celebrities coming out today at 3. Matty B will be back tomorrow morning for a video where he plays a piano and warms your little hearts. All right, guys. Love you guys. Be blessed. That's all I got. BitBoy out.
We'll be right back.